Hello everyone, this is Dren001 and welcome back. We're going to be covering an interesting topic today, and it's how to manage aggression. And I just want to show this clip real quick. This is one that I just got. Decided to have a warm-up round, and so I went to Lijiang Tower and kind of wanted to take some ideas into account. Basically, aggression is okay, and I know my accuracy wasn't good here, and you can just see it, like, it should be better. But yeah, it was my first round, so give a little. The main things I want to get at is a lot of people are, let's just have this mark all this scene. We're going to jump into a quick play. Or do we want to? Yeah, we want to then. The main ideas with aggression, and let me grab Genji so that I can explain it through Genji, is you need to understand when to apply it. Not having aggression is bad, just because, like, there's two sides of it. So let's take two sides of the coin. If you are super passive, which means that everything comes to you, that's more of a defensive style, which is okay. That's where you'll play more defensively on, is you'll just wait for them to come to you, and then you'll do something as they walk up to you. But if you never get that shot, like on a, let's say, attack on, hey, look, Eichenwald, if you never push past the choke point, and I imagine we're going to get people just standing at the choke point, that's a good chance. There might not be. Watch. Everyone's just going to push through. But there's a good chance that people will just stand at the choke point and do nothing. And then you just kind of wonder, okay, how do I apply the aggression? And the main thing is it's poke battles. Aggression is based off of... aggression is mainly in the direction of impulse. So no one really applies aggression usually. You don't like naturally go, okay, I'm just going to jump in right now and go huge. People don't usually do that. Usually you have that panic of the oh crap and you jump in. And so we're going to be talking about of how to just like bounce around with that and how to deal with that. Some interesting ideas that we're going to cover. So yeah, you see everyone's coming up here and we're standing at the choke. This is super passive, and the person who just ran to the point is super aggressive. And see, we are here. So right now I'm playing a little bit aggressively because I know there's little people behind me. But what we're doing is we're now backing up. So we are applying aggression to certain points. We're looking for opportunities, and this is where dive comes into play. I always shoot over people's heads. Yeah. There we go. And I'm hacked. Yeah, that's nice. So a lot of it is the applied aggression. So you see we didn't jump in. There was no like complete explosion of stuff like you saw in the clip there. But we don't really need that. See, that was an explosion of it. You just see an opportunity and you spin around, because we had support next to us, as you can see, and it was basically we were going to die in that if it didn't work. So right now, see, applied aggression. That one, we could get the kill. Now we have a Widow to worry about. And we had the McCree, but all we needed to do was get the kill. Now we're just getting away. See? Applied aggression. And I haven't died yet. Applied aggression. There we go. We had supports there and they needed help. Applied aggression, and he wasn't looking at me. So that's how you're able to get away with stuff without dying. There you go. I used the deflect there so I didn't get shot by the Widow, and I knew she wasn't going to be able to get the headshot in the first place, so I didn't worry about actually getting that to go. Let's... shooting that. Okay, now this is a bit dangerous, and that's why I'm going to back up a little bit. There we go. Applied aggression. I didn't need to engage on him super hard. I just needed to... There we go. Applied aggression. She wasn't looking at me. I got an easy shot. That's bad. Okay. So that's where aggression can get you bad. So I know we talk about pressure. And so a lot of aggression and figuring out where to use your aggression is about pressure. You want to understand when you're going to die and why you're going to die. And in a lot of cases, it's a basic game of chance. You don't know if certain things are going to get you killed because you don't know how it's going to deal with you. Right there, we know someone died there, so we know things are going to be difficult. There's a good chance she's going to try to freeze me as she gets back up. I'm looking around to see if I'm getting pressure exerted. I have a McCree. And I deflected all that. Perfect. I should have applied aggression. I knew he was going to hit me. He had a pressure exerted on me, and I jumped around it. Pressure exerted. Doomfist had punch up. I knew if I poked, I would die. See, we've only died once during this. Now, this is another applied aggression. I just wanted to get a little bit of poke. Didn't need to get too much. Just needed a little bit. Applied aggression. Applied aggression. It was... I knew people were... basically we're looking at something else. Now this is where things get a little interesting. So, applied aggression. Now, watch, right? Okay. I'm just going to come back here and get health. I was waiting for her to come around the corner, and that's why I was looking back, so I could use deflect to block it and stay alive. I was using my deflect as a pressure reducer. Now the Bastion is not exerting a lot of long range. I'm actually getting more affected by the Bastion now. That Doomfist is going to loop around here. Yep. See? Pressure. There we go. See, that was pressure with a chance. So there's a chance that I would have died there, and that's the thing. That's what pressure is it's a chance on dying. So that's why I will say stuff like absolute pressure, which means you're low health, and if you're in this area, you will die. All that kind of stuff. See? She wasn't looking at me. I got an easy shot. You can see how I'm leading my shots is because... See? Easy kills. Easy kills. So a lot of pressure isn't really about the idea of not taking damage. It's the idea of taking damage smartly. So don't put yourself in positions where you're just going to die. Where you have a high likelihood of chancing. Balance that. There we go. Now the reason why I did that was because I knew he was going to flashbang me at some point. But I wanted to get far enough away. And I was far enough away that if he did... There you go. I want to see what he saw. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that stuff's hard to deal with because you don't know that they're going to be flanking around that entire area. And that's where I call bad luck. Is where random pressure's exerted and you get screwed. But yeah, so as you can see, we're not really doing a lot of pressure. So you see we're hacked right now. And we're moving back out. We're going towards our healers. And there you go. Yeah, that's the main idea, is you need to know when to jump in and basically when you're not feeding. So you want to be around, you always want to take fights in your favor. So people who aren't paying attention to you and paying attention to someone else. You want people that, oh wow, okay, so yeah, that's who. You want to take engagements where you have more people, so that's why I was jumping back to our healers sometimes, is because the healers were getting focused by one person, and with me on their side, I could help them out, and everything worked great. So that's the main ideas. Let me open this loot box real quick. We might jump into a custom game, and I might talk about some positioning stuff. So I'm going to cover some things as well. A lot of this is positioning guide as well. So a common thing is when people, a lot of things for like VOD reviews, so you know how people do like a video review or stuff like that, of people's gameplay. You'll see it on many different YouTube channels. The good ones that I notice are usually IOStucks and one amongst many, as well as Jane Overwatch Highlights. They do pretty well. They all have different little things they like to do, but I like the idea that Jane kind of talks about a lot, very similar to my ideas, is that positioning, when people say you have bad positioning, that's this super vague. There's a lot of vague terms that people will use to describe gameplay. I've mentioned a couple of them before. I'm trying to remember what it was. But, yeah, a lot of it is, like, you're out of position. Okay, what is your position? What should you be doing? A lot of the times when they say you're out of position, it means there's a better place for you to be. And either you're over-aggressive. They're using those terms in either way. But, like, for Soldier, you want to be on the high ground. You want to be shooting the guys below, and the reason is because you have a farther range. You can hit all these people, and when you're trying to hit people higher up than you, let me see, like, let's say if I was trying to hit up there, see my angle? I can't hit people that are on the far back side of this little, I call this knoll for some reason, but you can't hit people on the far back, but you can hit people up here. Whereas if you're on the high ground, you have a lot more decisions in what you can shoot at. Likely, though, is the closer the person you're shooting is to the high ground, the more angle you have to create. So it's kind of a mix. So that's why sometimes I say high ground's not always that good. But saying you're out of position is stuff like I'm standing here on the bridge, defending. And the reason why I'm out of position in the terms is there's a better place for me to be. And the reason is because they're going to be coming through this door, and if I do a little damage to them, they just step back and get healed. And then they can just walk out and possibly one-shot me with all their focus. But if I'm around here, they don't have the safety of their healing and or spawn, and so they have to have more time to move closer to me. Sorry, that's my chair. But yeah, I have all of this to go. So that's why I say applied aggression. So Soldier doesn't really have a lot of applied aggression. The only time you have applied aggression is if you're ulting and you need to get a better angle. So you ult, they run around the corner, you jump down and shoot, that's an option, or you can run across a bridge. People will tell you that you're out of position by jumping down here. Possible, but if they equally go this way and this way, then you're not out of position. But the main idea is just understanding why you're there. And I mention this a lot, is understanding why you're doing something. It's a lot of simple stuff, simple ideologies, is understand why you're there and when to jump in. Let's talk about, what other good ones? Ooh, Reinhardt. Applied aggression with Reinhardt. So over-aggressive Reinhardts are common, very common. And a lot of the reason is because they feel stupid holding a shield. It's very simple. And those that are aggressive with Reinhardt, yeah, let's be honest. Or even play Reinhardt, you get bored just holding your shield. So a lot of the times people will say, okay, your position is up here on the high ground or up there on the high ground, and you're just going to stand right here and hold the position. Let me see. It's kind of hard without mobility to get on that high ground, but you can do it. Pros have practiced a lot to do this. I don't practice at all to do that trick because usually I'm playing mobility. There we go. But yeah, you're holding the point and doing whatever. But like, let's say you're down here doing Reinhardt v. Reinhardt. This is a bad position overall. Only use this if you had to jump down to contest. But let's say you're doing a Reinhardt v. Reinhardt duel. You don't want to just charge. Because what's going to happen is he's going to countercharge. Your team doesn't have a shield, and it's just a mess. But here's where a charge can work. They have someone ulting. And you need to zone them out. And you know you can hit them with your shift ability. Their Reinhardt's about to Earth Shatter and your shield's down. Boom. Charge into him. All this different stuff is applied aggression. And especially if you have a Zarya barrier, you're like, okay, I know what I need to do. Hey, Zarya, bubble me. Boom. Yep. Boom. We get a kill. We're jumping around and we've established a new position. Everyone moves up and everything's good. But that's if you know there's a small chance of you dying. And so a lot of it is like, okay, they have a Bastion. What do we do? A lot of Reinhardts will go like, oh, I'll just charge straight through and I go all the way up and I die as I'm running up to him. Yeah, no. Diva flies in and right clicks. I'm like, perfect. Then I'll charge in. Or we don't have anything, so I'll just fire strike from afar and he doesn't do that much damage. Perfect. Very simple stuff. So it's just that applied aggression and then understanding when there's openings. I think that I can't remember who said it, but a few people have said it. Of people who play the games are people who or people who are pros, high levels, especially. Yes, I remember. It was an interview with Stir. When Stir did the bronze to GM, people asked him how did he get to bronze, and he said, well, it's kind of hard to get to bronze when you're a GM. And he didn't throw any games, but he said most of the stuff he was doing was he would see it play the game, basically like see an opening, and he just won't take it, and that's how he got to bronze. And so that's a lot of it as well. So like with Doomfist, you're like, okay, I'll just initiate with this. Boom, I have this option. We're shooting around, uppercut, and then we're out of here. Pretty simple stuff. Easy to get in, easy to get out. Other ways you can do it. So the reason why I say right click, and I've said this all the time with Doomfist, is right click to initiate. I think Unit Loss said the other thing, Stylosa. And I just I just freaked out. And the reason he said it was because you want to do your right click for damage. And I said no. You can do right click for damage, but the idea is to do that on initiation. Boom, you hit, you're shooting. Now, usually in the mind of Doomfist players, what they're going to be doing is going, am I going to die now? If they're not going to die now, no matter what, they usually just uppercut, or they uppercut, and if they are going to die, they just slam out. And they just get out immediately. But if they aren't going to die, then another thing will happen. So let me do this. Boom. You go in, you see an opportunity, boom, you uppercut, shoot, and then you dive out with your fist again. And that's why I say you initiate with your fist, is so that you can dive out with your fist. If you have the opportunity. So you have two windows to get out, and you can see players do this. And sometimes they won't even leave. They'll just boom, pull in, boom, shoot, up, shoot, and then they're in a position. Then they boom, hit another person, and they're just going. And then you boom, have the next one, uppercut, and then boom, right again. And it's just a fluid motion. And then everyone's dead. And that's if your applied aggression has no issues to run into, and you just leap out. With the Genji, for example, I didn't initiate at all. I just waited for someone who I could kill, and that's dive mentality. I just dove in on the person that was weak or whatever and got the kills, and it's pretty simple. Other things, let's cover Lucio. Let's cover Lucio, because I'm the Lucio aficionado, and then we'll wrap it up. So there's three things that people do. There's three styles that people play on Lucio, and I'll eventually go more in depth on these in a Lucio guide later down the road, but I just haven't gotten to it. There hasn't been a lot of Lucio play or people wanting to play Lucio. So basically on a very slow day, I'll do a Lucio guide. But yeah, so the main ideas is there's three play styles of Lucio. You have the passive Lucio, which is the most common Lucio that you see at least at high levels, or at least the most advertised. So this is like, a lot of people will show you this, and this is basically how the Lucio player will look. We need to move away. And that'll be it. That'll be it. And I make that look boring. It's a little dramatized, but that's usually what it is. Little to no wall riding and just standing behind shooting. This is the North American, not North American, it's just the Western strategy to playing Lucio. And I think there's a good one from Sideshow. One of the analysts for the Overwatch League was talking about how when Rogue went to Apex, they were freaking out because the Lucio players were doing so much and they just couldn't do anything because it was so different. And usually Wins would be like, all I do is sit on the payload all day smoking a cigarette or whatever, because of course he's French. And he was making that joke, but of course he's friends with Rogue anyway, so that was, yeah, kind of like just as a funny joke or whatever. But the other strategy is the one that usually has the most flack and makes the third strategy look really bad. And it is the over-aggressive Lucio, meaning you are only healing yourself and you're doing this. And then you're shooting, you're jumping around the people at their spawn, and you're just going completely massive. And a lot of people are like, you should just be playing a DPS if you're doing that. And I agree, that's over-aggressive. And this is usually where this aggression application comes from, is this Lucio play style and how you balance. Here's the other side. The third one is the mix, which I usually like, and a lot of people don't really understand, and they usually see it and they just say, oh, it's the over-aggressive. And the idea is you're support on the go. You're the support that everyone likes, so basically you'll want to sit here on the high ground, bouncing around, because it's harder to hit, and then you circle around to help out your players, and you jump up around, you're taking poke, and if like someone in the back line's having problems, you go in and play like pseudo tank, you put your healing on, and you jump in front of them to soak up damage if they're really close to death. And you just do that. A lot of it is just jumping around helping people. Someone ults, you jump over, boom, boop them away, and then you isolate them. And you're just like support on the go, pretty much. Super peeling, a lot of peeling. That's basically the third style of Lucio, is you're playing peel. Very high mobility, high peel. And that's where a lot of people get Lucios wrong, is they won't play them on maps like Watchpoint Gibraltar because they can't have vertical movement. And as you can probably see, that's pretty much incorrect. He has a lot of vertical movement, but it takes practice to get this vertical movement. Yeah, like, so see, I'm on the low ground, boom, boom. Up on the high ground, pretty simple. Up on the high ground. Low ground, low ground. Up on the high ground. Pretty simple stuff. So yeah, that's going to be about it for this video. So just in summary, make sure you look for opportunities For practicing with yourself with holding aggression, try to spend a couple matches not jumping in. Play that boring style. Challenge yourself to not jumping in and do that. The other opportunity that you can do is if you can't force yourself to be aggressive, just dive in, do stupid stuff. Play it in quick play though, of course. Do all that stuff if you can't do it. But my first tip of advice to learn is to play a couple of games and basically play assassin. Stand in the corner, look for opportunities, do poke, and then jump in. And then basically spend every single fight trying to figure out how you would die and how you're not going to die. And that's how you're going to pretty much get it together. And I think that's pretty much it. I imagine that a lot of my tips starting to sound the same, where you decide how you're going to do something, how you aren't going to do something, and it's going to help you out. But yeah, it's pretty much the stuff with Overwatch. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. I do strat chats on Fridays, which kind of go into this format, but a little more discussionary. I did one on Winston last time. I'm going to be doing them about 3:30, 3 o'clock every Friday. I'm going to be doing a little more live streams. And of course, the new Overwatch event's coming out tomorrow, so I'm probably going to do something about it tomorrow. Minecraft's going to have to take a back burner while I do some of that, but I don't think it's going to be for long. I think maybe like 2 days, honestly. You're just going to have to deal with a little extra Overwatch, but that's going to be it for me today. Remember, as always, Arrivederci, sayonara, and have a nice day. Bye!